Okay, I don't even know if I'm on part 7 or 8 or 6 or what. I've lost track. But these are the vlogs for Mike Gibson USAF W.I.L. So, we're up to the part where I was talking about clergy and ritual. Okay, so in Baha'i faith, there's no clergy, and there's also no formulated ritual. Okay. I think I'd like to start with the ritual part first, because it is proposed that the act of prayer is a ritual, but that's like the only one, except for the prayer for the dead that's said in congregation. That's the only time where it is said like that. Every other thing, kind of prayer, you're praying on your own, unless you're in a feast, or you're doing a holy day, or there's some kind of event or what have you. You are having your own private prayers, and several times a day too. So obligatory prayers, and then whatever else, and then there's like reading in the morning and reading at night, and you pray all the time. So okay, that's a biggie, all right. But to shift from that, which is prayer focused, to being in a place where there are physical ways to pray, and yet it's not totally different from being Baha'i, because I would prostrate, and there's that in Orthodoxy. Of course, I never crossed myself, and it is very interesting how the very first time that I ever did it, I was so scared to do it. I did it in the dark, okay? And now, not only because when I'm at church, it's a constant movement because of when you're saying certain things or recognizing certain things or what have you, or just throughout the day when I actually feel the time that I want to do that. It's amazing how quickly that changed. There's a couple of ways I could account for that, but that takes away the zhuzh. So you can talk something to death, which, yeah, I'm sure. After all of these parts, right? What I mean is to take out the specialness of it, the zhuzh. Okay. And then there's incense, and there's bells, and there's just even going into that building, which in and of itself is like an expression. The fact that I've gone from saying prayers always and only alone, except when we would get together, to prayer being this liturgy, which is completely congruent with what I grew up with as far as answer response, and repeating the same things, and having it be paced in a certain way that's very specific, and it's not varied at all, except by different holy days and feasts and whatever you call it. Baha'i is holy days, but I guess Orthodox say holy days too, but they say feast as well. So that's kind of gonna cross over in people's minds, but you'll figure out what I'm talking about. Other rituals. Yeah, I certainly never would have had anything to do with holy water, and now I have some. and it's special to me. And I certainly, definitely didn't ever imagine that I would have icons in my home. And now I have many. But as a Baha'i, I had the greatest name above the, top of my door. So I guess maybe that was somehow a version. I don't know. But I can't account for why they're comforting or easy for me to relate to, or completely sobering, or how they provide a space in which I can pull back from, that make it so much of a joyful part of my prayers. But just to tell you those things, because how can I explain it to you? It's completely, I mean, unless you have an experience with it, and if it means something to you, then it means something to you. But if it doesn't, then it would look to you like a painting, I guess, and a beautiful painting at that. But they're not. I'm not saying they're magical or something, but when I started to delve into it, oh my goodness, that was a whole other kind of prayer, I guess I could say. All right. So then there's fasting, which is like very different from being Baha'i, because when you're Baha'i, you never have alcohol, so that's like a constant. And then the only other time that you do have absence from food is the 19 days, sunrise to sunset for the last month before Nowruz. Whereas there's a continuous form of fasting that's not absence of food altogether, but it's just a graduated difference of certain foods on certain days that are recognition of different things. So go research all that so I don't have to describe it. Hope that wasn't mean. So I know that there are other rituals. I mean, I could go through, like baptism and weddings and things like that I've been blessed to sing for both and, get to experience them. But every week in church, when it's time for the Eucharist, that's a huge one that I watch. I don't do it because I'm not Orthodox yet. But what I concluded from what I thought I studied in Baha'i faith. So you can argue with me, whoever you if you're a Baha'i that's going to say that what I'm saying, I don't know. There was a sense of understanding that somehow maybe rituals were, this is my description, not Baha'is description, vacant or not necessary maybe, or I don't want to use the word primitive, but just kind of like not presently imbued with anything that's monumental. And yeah, if you just think that, baptism is taking a bath, then that's what you'll think. But there's more going on. Yeah. Anyways, the whole thing about, when you're behind, there's no baptism, there's no Eucharist, there's no confession. There's no, yeah, in fact, there's like a prohibition against, that I remember specifically reading that in the Octos, that you wouldn't have any kind of confession. And that is a really important part of, how Orthodox order and understand their lives, I think. That's, foreign to me just because I'm never going to confession. But, you know, something not considered um, valuable or even maybe reasonable to me by my Baha'i understanding or misunderstanding. So who knows what that is. But it's funny that all of those things that, I supposedly let go of and didn't care that I missed so much are what I'm completely comfortable with and love and look forward to and enjoy. So now, how did I talk about one thing and I have to go on to another just so I can talk about clergy? So thank you so much again for listening.